Yeah, that's how I sync up my video, by the way. All right, guys, it's that time of the year. Beta has run out of video ideas, so we're doing a furry Q&A. I want to answer you guys' questions you left me on my YouTube community post. Do you have to be gay to be a furry? Yeah, we really missed the furry Q&As, didn't we? Look, in all due respect, they might be asking an honest question, and they might not know. And that's okay to not know. You're asking honestly. And I'll answer honestly and kindly. No, you don't have to be gay to be a furry. You don't have to be anything to be a furry. You can just be a furry because you want to. I actually did one YouTube short, I think a bit ago, answering that question of like, do you need a fursuit to be a furry? Just in general, if you want to, you can join the community if you'd like. Just don't be an awful person or a jackass. Look, it's not a high bar at the end of the day. Just be pleasant. Just be nice. That's all. I guess it does make sense though, because you see a lot of furries being predominantly LGBT, so you feel like you're the odd one out as being like a straight furry or not really conforming with the masses. So I kind of get that. But no, you don't have to be gay to be a furry. Are you gay and are you single? Yes and yes. I'm single, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with it at the end of the day because I get to focus on kind of building myself up into this new person that I want to be, which is something I've been doing for the past few months. Little bit of an icebreaker on my end. I've been doing a lot of therapy, a lot of journaling in this little journal that I have right here. I just write down my thoughts and feelings in here. Look, there's my friend Tibbs who's working out. He's pretty cool. But yeah, it helps make my thoughts more tangible and helps me not spiral as much as I used to. And on top of that, I've been working on losing weight as I've seen a lot of the effects of me eating a bit healthier or being more cautious about what I'm eating. And so for an update on that, which I don't know if I've announced this in a previous video, in September, I weighed myself at around 250 pounds, which is about where I've been for the past few years. And as of this last Thursday, I weigh 215.7 pounds. I have lost nearly 35 pounds. I have like one more to go before FWA, before I've hit my goal. And I feel so much better. Honestly, it feels surreal that I'm even there because I haven't been at that weight since like 2012, since I got into like high school, not even. So it's just a little surreal to me, but I'm getting used to it. And it's like, I feel good. My back doesn't hurt as much. But no, I've been working on myself, and honestly, that has been pretty fun. I know I kind of went on a tangent with that question, but yes, I am gay, and yes, I am single. And regardless of whether I'm in a relationship or single, I'm happy with who I am and where I am. Are you gonna buy the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart? I would pay $80 or $100 Australian because you can play as a cow. Very, very bold question from you for two different reasons. One, for spending $500-ish to play as a cow. Personally wouldn't make that decision, but hey, you have your priorities set, and all I can do is wish you the best of luck with it. And then second part of it, bold of you to think that I have any sort of disposable income as a full-time furry YouTuber. I've made this joke like 3 times now. When will you finally let me out of the editing dungeon? When I get better at responding to messages. Look, I had this point on Telegram as well, where my notifications got down to the single digits. I had like 4 notifications for like messages to get back, voice messages to listen to, and I felt so proud of myself. That number is now back at like 50, and that's not even including Discord either. And I look at that number, I get scared, I'm like, God fucking damn it, I don't want to do this again. Look, my goal now with all those notifications that I have on Telegram and Discord is just get through at least 5 messages a day. At least 5. And if I get more, that's fine. That means I need to up my amount that I get through during the day, because I don't want to just respond for the sake of it to get the notifications down, because then that's not a genuine interaction. And like, what's the point of me having that Telegram or Discord? Do you like the Saw movies? Yes and no. I like the first 2, maybe 3. The rest of them, I don't really care for. Even the newer ones, they just don't really interest me. I loved when James Wan directed for Saw. That was beautiful. It was so good. Saw 1, banger. Saw 2, banger. Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I think the premise of Saw 6 was kind of interesting and somewhat dystopian, of some like health insurance company choosing who lives and who dies, and then, you know, actually being applied to like a Saw game where someone had to choose who lives and who dies. It was very interesting, but mainly dystopian, and I don't like thinking about it because how's health insurance going right now in this country? Other than a Goofy movie, what film served as an important part of you becoming a furry? Honestly, it was probably just Zootopia. I mean, the whole Goofy movie thing was mainly for the life jacket, which got me interested in the life jacket, you know, that scene where like Max is in the life jacket and then it inflates, and then I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's neat. I like that as like a kid. And then, you know, here we are now. Oh, hey, I have an art piece of that. That's kind of neat. And oh, hey, other people like it too. That's also neat. I got to do a whole video discussing that because it was recently the 30th anniversary of a Goofy movie. And so I saw a lot of people putting their Fursonas in that whole life jacket scenario, which made me really happy to know that I'm not alone in this world with what I enjoy. But yeah, other than a Goofy movie, probably Zootopia. Not for any specific reason other than I just saw it and I found the appeal of anthropomorphic animal characters more interesting to me. It didn't direct me to the furry fandom per se. Like, I kind of knew that furries were a thing even before that, but then I saw Zootopia. I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. I like this movie. Went and saw it with my mom just one evening after I got middleman scammed in CSGO, which... good for me, but I don't really have a furry movie that made me a furry. Granted, I did like The Lion King as a kid, Lion King 2. I had my whole like Lion King phase in early high school that I really loved, but I don't think that really contributed to me enjoying furry the way I do now versus when I enjoyed those little sub-communities then. Thoughts on hyenas? I think they're pretty cool. If you do a Q&A, my question is, what do you think about Black Egyptian-inspired jackals? I personally adore Black Egyptian-inspired jackals. I think they're pretty cool. What is your opinion on VR chat furries? Thanks, man. I think they're pretty cool. What is your general opinion on how furry YouTube is going in general? I think it's going pretty all right. I mean, there are probably some other YouTubers and content creators who I've never heard of before, but obviously, you know how the furry fandom has changed, which is sort of relevant to a video that I did a little bit ago, so go and check out that video. It's a really good one. But I think furry YouTube is in a good place. It's naturally growing at the end of the day. You know, you have several different creators who are in like the VR chat scene, VR chat funny moments, doing like stream highlight stuff. A lot of folks doing commentaries similar to like what I'm doing. It's just one of those cases where furry YouTube is going to grow naturally. There's always going to be way more creators in years to come. The fact that there are more folks doing this, even when I kind of came from a time where folks considered the golden age of furry YouTube to be in like 2017, 2018, I'd still think it's in a pretty good point. Thoughts on racing games? I think they're pretty cool. Okay, but in all seriousness, my favorite racing game, and I'm not really personally a fan of racing games in the first place, is Sonic Riders. That one was so intuitive, so competitive, it had such a cool format, and then they threw it out the window for something a lot easier and simpler. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, Sonic Riders was fantastic. That will forever be one of my favorite racing games. How did you get into the furry community, and how did you get your Fursona? So for the first question of how I got into the furry community, check out this video. For how I got my Fursona, check out this video. What resources can I use to imagine my Fursona? Have you ever thought about making another Fursona or character? You said that Maverick was based off of a Digimon, Levi was an adoptable, and Beta was made for you. So I was wondering if you had ever thought about pouring your own passion and creativity into a fully original character. You know, that's a good point. I haven't really built a character from the ground up. It's all been kind of done for me to some extent. Obviously with help from friends, which is kind of the best way that I've done it whenever it comes to creating a character or Fursona. The best advice that I can give is if you can't come up with something or you're having trouble, have friends help you. I've always kind of pictured it as like friends are the best source for pointing out little aspects or traits about you that you might not be observant about in yourself. And that's what I did with a lot of friends that helped me create the Fursonas that I have. Though for really that end of the question, I haven't really had a desire to make another character. I'm content with the 3 ones that I have, and if I am really looking to change it up, maybe I will take that into account with wanting to build one from the ground up. I think it would be a neat little challenge, and I kind of want to maybe do it for a video potentially, starting with literally like the bare bones base ref sheet and coloring that in, and then building like a little traits sheet of like the character, what I like about him, what I want to add with him, and have that build up in time until I eventually commission a ref sheet, and then maybe that's my new character, or maybe I have that be like an open source character for the community. But that seems like a fun little challenge. Thank you for the idea. Hi! I don't know why I read it that way. It just sounded fun. How do you like your coffee? Okay, you know what? I like this question. No one has asked me how I like my coffee. It's always like, Beta, do you drink coffee? Or Beta, what are your thoughts on coffee? What do you mean my thoughts on coffee? I think they're pretty cool. I'm very simple. I like iced coffee or some sort of cold brew with a little bit of oat milk. That's really it. Do I like hot coffee? Very, very rarely. If there's like a blizzard going on in the middle of New England, you will still see me drinking an iced coffee. That is just how I am. What's something that is rarely talked about in the furry community but needs more attention? Okay, I could go on for hours about this. Understanding some level of self-awareness with how social media is and how the internet side of the community is. Because in all honesty, the IRL or in-person event aspect to the furry community is what a lot of it is about. It's a lot of people getting together who are nerds, enjoying each other's company, and feeling like they can express themselves comfortably and safe with enjoying anthropomorphic animal characters. And people who like wearing animal costumes, that's what it's about. And you can get a taste of that on social media. But unfortunately, the state that it's in, with rewarding bad behavior or trying to create this sense of validation or happiness from like likes and retweets or from making a hot post or for followers or something, it leads to a lot of problems that you see. And that, I believe, has also added to the influx of furry drama, which has always been a thing. You know, people are nosy, people have thoughts and feelings and opinions that are very strong about the community, regardless of whether or not it affects them. In a lot of cases, it's the approach of trying to dunk on someone they deem to be lesser than them, who has like a bad take, is deemed to be a problematic person, regardless of the legitimacy of it or not. And people just go with it. They seek validation for saying something that is kind of just as obvious as can be. And a lot of it, I feel like, is just detracting from the actual point of what you're supposed to be doing in the furry community, which is like being creative. And it's not to say you're doing the whole furry thing wrong. You can enjoy it however you'd like. If you want to be perpetually miserable on Twitter, you can do that, okay? No one's gonna stop you. I don't care to stop you because I gotta worry about my own time. But I think what really needs to be understood, or what needs to be given more attention, is this unhealthy and toxic idea of how social media works, and understanding that it is supposed to perpetuate things and make you feel like you're gaining something at the end of the day through validation with your posts or what you're saying, through your hot takes, through your opinions. And that is a very slippery slope because you can be hooked on that and wanting more and more of it. That's why furry, to some extent, and this might be a separate video to discuss this entirely, is also known for its social media or internet drama. I think once there's a little bit of an understanding about how this works and how to resolve or get over the obstacle of conflict with someone you don't like, then that's where it can really start as the process of not letting shit like this happen, where like someone makes a hot take that is either just objectively bad and you can just ignore it and keep going on with your life, or you could go and dunk on them and leave your thoughts and opinions and say that they're a shitty, horrible person, when at the end of the day, it's only just kind of spreading that negativity for not really a good reason. Which I know I could be somewhat of a hypocrite with that point of doing furry drama videos. My approach to it has been a little bit different than just for the sake of dunking on someone and spreading negativity for the sake of it, but regardless, it's just a lot more understanding of social and self-awareness. I think the best solution to this, and this is also part of a separate video that I want to do, get a journal. Write down your feelings and opinions there. If you have something that you want to share with Twitter, don't do it. Write it in here. If it's something about you hating someone or you want to subtweet them, create a burn book. I'm not even joking. That is a way of expressing yourself so that it isn't toxic or volatile to others. How many FurCons have you been to and which one was your favorite? I think as of right now, I have been to nearly 50 furry conventions. By the time this video is probably uploaded, it'll have been, I believe, 46 or 7 after FWA 2025, which is crazy to think about that I have been to this many furry conventions, but that's also including like little mini friend cons that I've been to, like get-togethers. But my favorite one so far has probably been FWA like 2022 or so. It was my first FWA. It was a lot smaller. The 10th floor was like the secret hidden spot where everyone went to like hang out late at night. And it was just a good vibe overall. I guess the only other con that would also be my favorite would be Texas Furry Fiesta 2022, which I feel like is a bit more biased because I was the guest of honor for that con, and that was just an amazing experience overall. I had such a good time. So I guess to say, yeah, that was probably my favorite furry convention experience, but I didn't want to leave it as just like a bias, oh, it's good because I had the GOH experience, which, yeah, naturally, you know, anyone would think that that is better. Do you have a dream home? Like, pretend the economy is great and houses are dirt cheap. What's something you'd love to live in? Honestly, I want a home that is so nice and so pretty that it can kind of decorate to be my own, and I can throw parties in. Granted, I am nowhere close to a good host for parties, but if friends who know how to host parties would love to host one at my imaginary home that I would have, I'd love to have something like that, like a 2-story home, like an open garage, open driveway, 1 or 2 guest bedrooms, one room dedicated for debaucherous, kinky activities during said party, a whole basement area which is decked out in everything that you want. I don't know, I'd love to have something like that. I'd also like to have a home that would work really well for like fursuit photos. I don't know, maybe that's something I'll have to do someday, making my dream furry home. And I want it to come with an air fryer, even though I already have one. You can't not have more than one. What's your favorite furry character from any show, game, media, etc.? Deathwolf. You already know this. I love Deathwolf. He's the docky that I have in the back. He's got all sorts of life jacket art that people have made of him, and I really like seeing Deathwolf in a life jacket, I will say that. But yeah, love Deathwolf. He is the one character that I head over heels for. Love him. I have a question. With what you have going on now with your YouTube and Twitch, what do you think is your next big step? Would you go the route of a podcast-esque style where you bring people onto the stream and chat and talk about things? Honestly, that is my next step, believe it or not. I was going to do a whole video discussing this later and gauging your guys' thoughts and opinions on it, but I'll give an abbreviated version now. I would like to start a podcast, a furry-themed podcast where I bring many different people from the community who are involved in different subcultures in furry, whether they're con chairs, they work for cons, they're artists, they're fursuit makers, they're furries in the music space, they're previous content creators, whoever it might be. I want to bring folks in to shed some light on like how big and vast the community is, and hopefully to help clarify some concerns or feelings people have had. Like the reason why I even wanted to do a podcast was to have like con chairs and con staff members on about like people being loud about this con did a bad thing, I hate this con, and then actually explaining what goes into like running a con so that people can be like, oh, I didn't realize it was this much work. Maybe I shouldn't be a jackass about it and like harass the social media account for this con. But thank you for the question. That's where I want to potentially take things, getting into like interview stuff, talking with people. You wake up tomorrow as your Fursona. What's the first thing you do? I think I did a video on this a bit ago. What's your shoe size? 13.5 inches wide. I got some big ass tootsies. And yes, I will absolutely sell feet pics on the appropriate platform, so if you know, you know. Look, I have no shame, I'll sell feet pics. Hey Beta, love your content. Thank you, I appreciate that. Is there a specific or unique trait you like on a fursuit, like glowing eyes, magnetic eyebrows, clothing, etc.? Honestly, I am a sucker for like spiky horns or tails on like a super cute suit. Like a character that can be like super cute and adorable and fluffy and huggable that's got kind of like a kaiju vibe. That's actually more of it, a kaiju vibe or kaiju traits added on to like a big fluffy wolf monster. And then they're just like super soft and they give like big hugs. Kind of like my friend Twitch the Wolf. I love him. He's like a big kaiju stompy dog, and I love getting hugs from him. He's such a sweetie. What's your favorite genre / subgenre of music? Favorite genre is just rock and metal in general. I've been on, for some reason, a Coheed and Cambria kick recently, but usually I listen to a lot of J-rock. Some of my favorite bands being like My First Story, Nano, Survive Said the Prophet. So yeah, could you try giving us a summary of each character and their name? It doesn't have to be a long story, I just would like a short one. Thank you very much. Recent YouTube short that I actually uploaded like a day ago. As someone being quite new to the fandom, here's my question. Did you ever have a surprising encounter with an old friend that you previously did not associate with being a furry, but turned out to be one? Yes, actually, it was one of my old high school buddies who I actually did a video with a few years back when he was known as Monchas. I think they go by something else now, but it was kind of surprising to see them there, but then I started thinking about it and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. 1. How do you contact an artist? This video on how to commission furry art, or at least a step-by-step process as clear as I could have given one. 2. Are artist friends supposed to disappear for years? Is it normal for them to do that? Depends on the reason why. How was your experience as a furry content creator? What were you able to accomplish? And if you could do anything differently, would you? My experience has been pretty good. I know it's one of these things where it's like, do you regret any of the decisions that you made? There have been some decisions, obviously, that I regret here and there, but I just kind of have taken them either as learning experiences or just kind of reflecting on where things were before and how they are now, and understanding that, yeah, I'm in a pretty lucky position that many would really love to have. And I try to treat every single day like a blessing in that sense with being any sort of content creator. This is the only interest really doing YouTube or content creation has been the only hobby or interest that I've had since I was a kid. So being able to live this as my job has been nothing short of just a blessing. So I try to take it every single day in stride. Obviously, there are things I wish I could change here and there. You know, I'm happy that I went into the furry content creation because I feel like having like a level-headed approach, wanting to express and talk about things in the collected way I have, has been hopefully helping helpful to some, and that's just what I'm looking for at the end of the day, because I love yapping for hours on end. But I don't know, I just haven't really been picky about what I want to do necessarily. I just kind of like being a storyteller. I like commentating. I like talking like I do now. And so I'm like, oh, furry stuff, I like that. Let's talk about it. And then I mesh the two together, and here we are. And in terms of if I could do anything differently, nah, I'm here now, and I don't want to make things different to the point where they'd change so drastically. I made the decisions that I did, whether they're for better or for worse, and all I can really do is learn from them, understand them, and do the best I can to be a better person. Life continues on. I know everyone yearns for the times of before and how times are younger, but live for and enjoy what you have and what you can do now. My go-to question to ask people is, if you were able to make any form of media like a movie, TV show, animation, or book, what would you want to make it about? Or less specific, what genre? Would you act in it? If not, then would you want to cast? You know what? That is an excellent question that I haven't even thought about, and it might be more of like a specific goal that I want to achieve. Actually, I am going to write down that question in my notebook for a potential goal one day, whether it's a documentary that I want to make, or some sort of animation, or writing a book. I think the best thing that I could do that I've thought about within reason is writing a book, whether it's about like my life or my experiences and trying to put them into perspective so that they're a bit more understandable. I'd really like to do something like that. I guess I kind of answered the question of like, I'd like to maybe write a book, maybe an autobiography, maybe not, I don't really know, but maybe that's like the next thing that I should really focus on and ask myself for like a future goal. I really like that, so thank you, Chilled Mocha. I'm gonna write that down in my book and reflect on it later. What struggles have you faced doing YouTube full-time? Constantly being put under a microscope, which is not something that I think about too often because I just kind of do what I do at the end of the day and live by the person that I am and the standards that I have. Obviously open myself to critiques and criticisms when needed, but also understanding the balance of when it's not needed to pay attention to it, like just noise at the end of the day. There's a balance and you can do both. The struggles honestly is just understanding how many people either watch you or look up to you. It's a bit surreal and scary, but the more you do it and the more you kind of get used to it, the easier it gets. What does it feel like to be in a fursuit? Cozy, comfy, claustrophobic? Feels a little hot at first to get used to the feeling of being in Under Armour, but most of the time it's just kind of wearing a big, somewhat weighted blanket, not super weighted, but then you feel like you want to fall asleep and lay in bed while you're in fursuit, but that's a whole other thing. It's cozy once you get used to it, and somewhat sweaty. Do you have any regrets choosing content creation as your main job? Ooh, that's actually a good one. I guess the only thing that really kind of concerns me to the extent is that I went and got this degree for mechanical engineering, and it has been give or take 5 years since I got it. I didn't even really get a graduation because I graduated during COVID lockdown, so that was fun. But I haven't had really any experience in the field besides maybe an internship that was paper pushing, and I ended up quitting that because it just seemed like a waste of time for me. And I'd rather spend it doing something a bit more hands-on with me even doing content creation. So I took that summer to do that, and I don't even regret doing that. The only thing that there's a little worry about, maybe not a regret, can I actually apply my degree towards a career or job in the future if this falls through? It's something I think about, but not too often. I think at the end of the day, I'll be able to work things out. Maybe I could do a job off of that, like maybe social media marketing for a company or something else. Maybe it just shows that I'm competent, which is what I feel like some companies look for at the end of the day, just competency. But in terms of regrets, I don't think I really have a regret because I'm here now and I'm still living and I'm happy. So I don't really know how to really regret that. The more I regret or look at how things used to be or how things could be different, the more I'm missing out, at least in my eyes, on what is in front of me now, how I could be making it better, how I could be enjoying the now. So yeah, it's not really a regret. It's more of a wondering, is this gonna work out? Am I gonna be okay? I probably will. But either way, that is it for the Q&A questions. So on that note, thank you all for watching. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I may or may not do more of these nonchalant videos in the future. And check out the videos for any of the questions that you might not have even asked in this video that I referenced from in the top left-hand corner. Because I've done all those videos in the past, worked really hard on them, and they're still relevant now. If you want to support what I do on here, feel free to check out my Patreon to get early access to my videos at least a day early before I upload them. I'm trying to build a community up, both on Discord and Patreon, and putting the two together. So if you want to check out my Patreon, the link will be in the description below. It supports me in what I'm able to do with either hiring editors or giving me other ideas for feedback for videos in the future, and you get some priority to some extent, so that's pretty cool. Either way, that's about going to do it for me. Have a wonderful night, take care, life stay jacket, treat people like people. I mean it. I know you're on social media. You understand that the person you're talking to is another person. Either way, see you guys later. Take care, guys.